One of the interesting things about catfish soap that has always intrigued me throughout my studying is that it's soap. Why does it work? Soap works because of the animal fat in the soap. Not all soaps have animal fat. And the animal fat, as the soap is in the water saturated, it leaks in. So more or less, you have this really long scent trail. And due to the design of the soap, it lasts a very long time. And so in theory, the more scent you have coming off this soap and the more fatty fats or the fatty acids that come off this soap, the longer that scent trail is going down river or in the lakes. In the lake, in theory, it's going to sit around the soap, right? You have a bait, you have a soap kind of seeping around. Build a little cloud of scent. In rivers with current or lakes with current and a lot of current, you have that soap, that scent. That's just like if you hold soap underwater in the shower. It's washing that off. Same thing happens underwater. And you have this long scent trail downriver. So in theory, the soap works well, whether it's Zote soap, which is really malleable. I've used it. It's great. Zote, it's the pink stuff. It's very malleable. The lye or your basic soaps in the store, the negative of that is it crumbles. It's brittle. But Zote is more of a waxy substance. Gotta let my dog out real quick. The Zote soap is more of a malleable soap, so it stays on the hook well. And it has a very high animal fat content. So Zote is a really good option. Now, over the years, people have made their own concoctions, added anise into some of them, added garlic into some of them. All great options, added, maybe chicken liver, flavorings or whatever, vanilla here, strawberry there. All kinds of scents on the market work. But the idea is the longer it sits in that water in current, the longer you have scent going downstream. And it's the fatty acids in that soap and the fat itself, the animal byproduct, that really draws them in. So in my mind, when I think of it in like a 3D, I think kind of in that 3D mentality. For example, if you hold a cube up, or you see on TV, they hold a cube up, pow, a cube pops up and it starts spinning. That's the way my brain works. My brain starts processing what's happening underwater, and that's how I approach things. But with soap, I've talked about this a couple different times to make sure it's clear, that like in the shower, you hold it underwater, it starts to disintegrate, right? But that's essentially what happens underwater. So I love soap. I love working with soap. I think soap in catfish market is great. It's great for catching some dinner, this and that. Sure. It's not going to catch you 100-pound blue cats, 100-pound channels. Or not channels, but 100-pound flatheads. There ain't no such thing as a 100-pound channel catfish. Let's just be honest. I know that already. Clearly misspoke. But it's interesting how that kind of works. And that's why it works so good on trout line, jug lines, is because it has that time to release that scent. Now, worms, for example, are a morsel that when it explodes in the fish's mouth, you get flavor. It's like a gusher. Pardon if that makes you squirm a little bit, but worms are a gusher to the catfish. They bite down, tons of flavor, they eat it, right? It tastes good to them. Soap's the opposite. It's just a longevity product that has a lot of fatty acids coming off, and it's the animal byproduct in that soap, the fats. That's why Zote is so good. It's a high fat content soap. And Zote is malleable. It's malleable enough that when you cut it, it doesn't crumble. Your basic bar soap in the store, your Lyes, this and that, are very brittle and crumble. And the idea behind soap is that you have a long-lasting scent trail and current. And that scent doesn't dissipate. Like on lures, you apply some scent, you get maybe 10, 15 casts and it starts to wear off. With soap, as long as that soap's on your hook, you have scent. And in current, that's good. But will it catch you the biggest catfish in the world? No. Will it catch you some dinner? Absolutely. It's a great product. But is it going to beat worms? No. Is it going to beat cut shad? No. Is it going to beat chicken liver? No. But it is a heck of a lot cleaner than liver. So, is it going to beat shrimp? No. But, like I said, sometimes you cast out there and, or most of us know, I guess. I didn't say it yet, but I am saying it now. Most of us cast out there. Sometimes you have little bait thieves take bait off, right? It's a lot harder for those bait thieves to take off soap than it is worms or, shrimp. When usually they bite that shrimp, shake their head, and it's gone. So it's a good idea to always have a backup rod, whether you just want to have a lot of action or have bait that's guaranteed out there. That's the idea behind soap. Now, soap can be used on rod and reel. It's traditionally, though, used on trout lines and things that sit around for a while. As that soap wears down, it's releasing that scent. So you have a very, 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 very long period of time where it's releasing scent, right? That's why soap works, and it's the fatty acids in soap. Now, can you pick up an Irish Spring? Oh, yeah, this and that. That's great. But the problem with Irish Spring is it has deodorant in it. Deodorant is bitter. It's not an appealing or appetizing, more or less, chemical to fish. So the deodorant you put under your arm is bitter. So that's not a good product. You can look at the easiest one is getting a big bar of that soap and just cutting it with your knife. It's very easily. It's malleable. It's more of a waxy substance. And in Oregon here, I have taken soap, stuck it in 1.5-inch crappie tube, stuck it up in there, just pure curiosity. Caught a bullhead with it. Now, was it that 1.5-inch crappie tube that did it, or was it the soap? I don't know. But it was pretty quick after I put the soap in there. And would I like to believe that it released some scent and brought that catfish in? Absolutely. Can I prove it? No. So, I've experimented over the years, since 2008, with soap for bullhead catfish. Has it worked that well? No. But that day I did catch one. So, is it plausible? Absolutely. Now, obviously, soap is more targeted towards channel catfish. Catch your stringer, bring them home, cook them up. Will it catch blues and flatheads? Maybe if you get it in the right hole, by luck. Flatheads hunker down. So you got to have your jug line or trout line end up in that hole, and then they're going to eat it. They're going to ambush it. They don't know what it is. Predatory hit it. Get it out of here. That type of mentality. But the soap is a decent product just because of the longevity on your hook and the longevity of how much scent is continuously going down in a current-esque. So it works in lakes, but better with current, because just like under the shower, the running on the shower washes that soap off, just like it washes off your skin. Same thing's happening underwater. That scent, that smell is continuously going wherever that current flow is going. If you have flow going to the right, position your rod a little bit above where you think the fish are. That scent is going to flow into that hole. So there is some strategy behind this. The longevity, knowing that you're not going to have bait thieves taking your bait off. So that's one of the ideas behind soap. It works. Jeremy Wade's proven it. Jeremy Wade brought it to the Amazon, put on trout lines. Works, right? But it's also worked on rod and reel. It's just another option. Never limit yourself to one approach. Because when that approach doesn't work, other people are going to catch you and be like, what the heck's going on? And then if you have that rod up, maybe that rod will pop off. And that rod will pop off again. 3 fish to your one typical presentation. There's a pattern there, folks. There's a pattern you should pay attention to, whatever that bait is. So never limit yourself to one approach. Because that one approach, if it's missing that day or the fish don't want that bait, you're going to strike out. So always have variety. Maybe have a live bait out there for big channels or big flatheads, Live bullhead if you can do it. Clip the dorsal fin with garden shears, because what they tend to do is get swallowed to stick that dorsal fin up in the roof of their mouth. That's how they unalive a lot of bass. They would take their dorsal fin, stick it through the roof of the fish, and get stuck. They'll go like this. And that's how the fish, they both perish. So clipping that top dorsal fin is going to prevent him from getting eaten and go like this and unaliving both fish, especially big bass or other things like that. You often find them stuck together. The fish in the fish's mouth, they're floating and they're struggling. And when you pull them out, pull it apart, you'll find out that bait fish or whatever stuck his dorsal fin through the roof of the fish as a last-ditch effort. And usually, you'll find big fish like that floating. And that's how they expire. That's something you can do. Always pay attention to bullhead's dorsal fins. They're sharp. You can clip it, hook it through the lips, put that out there. Pay attention to that. Yes, leaving it on will create a predatory strike, and they will sit down there, struggle, figure out how to get it in their mouth. But if you clip it, boom, down it goes. And there is a strategy to feeding a fish as easily as possible, because you want him to readily take your bait. You don't want him to struggle with it, because then if he gets struggled, he's like, okay, this ain't worth it, or something's not right with my bait. The first time that fish sees that, I want him to eat it, and I want him to swallow it and get hooked. I don't want that fish to hesitate. I don't want that fish to sit there and have second thoughts. If it's a trophy caliber fish, he needs to eat it the first time, and he needs to get hooked the first time. Mistakes lead to educated fish. Mistakes lead to losing record fish. So, as my friend Dave Smith, the DSD Decoys, one time said, catch those fish. Do not educate those fish. You break them off, you lose them, you're educating them. And the next time you go down there, that fish is not going to bite your line. And if you educate them, if you educate that fish by breaking them off, what you just did is taught that fish what not to eat. And you just made it harder on yourself. Catch those fish, use adequate gear, do not break fish off. And when you do land that fish, take care of that fish, whether you're going to harvest that fish or not. If you're not, take the extra steps to make sure that fish is healthy and slide him back into the water as fast as possible.